There have always been things that were allowed for adults but harmful to children. I remember when the Motion Picture Association rating system for movies was enforced. A theater would prevent me from watching a PG-rated movie without my parents or their written permission. Now, granted, that was long ago, and it didn't take very long for people to find a way around the restrictions. Today, the MPA rating system, along with the TV parental guides, are little more than suggestions in most cases and enticements in others. All along the way, government actors have tried to help parents protect their children from the more offensive content readily available. However, in today's digital world, things went from merely difficult to seemingly impossible. Enter the idea of digital age verification. Now, age verification is nothing new. As long as there have been laws prohibiting the selling of alcohol to minors, there have been a booming business in fake IDs. As long as there have been laws requiring the hiding of pornography, there have been minors who gained access, then shared with others. With the internet, most people think it's all but impossible for parents to protect their children from this content, at least without government's help. And when it comes to laws meddling in other people's lives, government is more than willing to help. Now, while many states and even the federal government have come up with digital age verification laws, they all seem to forget two important facts. There will always be those who find ways around the restrictions, and unless the parents are involved, nothing the government can do will actually protect the children. As an example, let's look at Wisconsin's proposed legislation, AB 105. The section labeled Age Verification Required to Publish or Distribute Material Harmful to Minors. No business entity may knowingly and intentionally publish or distribute material harmful to minors on the internet from a website that contains a substantial portion of such material unless the business entity performs reasonable age verification methods to verify the age of individuals attempting to access the site. Sounds simple enough. Age verification is required for a business entity to knowingly publish or distribute content harmful to minors. As so often is the case, though, the devil's in the details. This bill, should it become law, is only effective within the state of Wisconsin. It has no legal authority over businesses in other states or countries. Also, just what are reasonable age verifications? Reasonable age verification methods means verification by a business entity using any of the following methods to determine that an individual seeking access to material harmful to minors is not a minor. A commercial age verification system that verifies age using the individual's government-issued identification card or by using any commercially reasonable method that uses public or private transactional data gathered about the individual, or a government-issued digitized identification card. So for a business in Wisconsin to use reasonable age verification, they would either have to get a digital version of your identification card or purchase a service that uses other data to verify your age. But what about your data? See, unlike showing your ID at a liquor store, an online entity has the copy of the information you submitted for verification. What happens to that data? A person that performs a reasonable age verification method in compliance with PAR may not knowingly retain identifying information of the individual attempting to access the website after the individual's access has been granted or denied. So these businesses are not supposed to keep the data, but do we really expect businesses to follow this? After all, what if the state of Wisconsin wants to audit the business records to ensure compliance with this law? How can a business prove that the user's ID showed they were not a minor without a copy of the ID? Now, a commercial product may provide a verification code, but how does the state know that the code is legitimate if the provider doesn't have a copy of the ID to prove it? So subsection 2B would make it impossible for a business to defend itself against a claim of violating this law. Speaking of violations, they would be civil, not criminal. A person alleging a violation of subsections 2 or 3 may bring an action seeking actual and punitive damages, court costs, and reasonable attorney's fees, notwithstanding sections 814.041. A person bringing an action under this paragraph is not required to first exhaust any relevant administrative remedies. So who gets to sue? I can understand a parent suing if their child gained access to such a site, but is that all? What about a grandparent, uncle, aunt, or cousin? Could a teacher or neighbor sue? Because that is not stated in the legislation. Now, there is an exception to this restriction. Subsection 2 does not apply to any bona fide news or public interest broadcast, video, report, or event, and may not be construed to affect the rights of any news gathering organization employee. Who defines what is a bona fide news or public interest story? If someone is writing a news story of the sexual antics of a politician, would that be exempt? And just why is the news gathering exception limited to employees of news gathering organizations? A news gathering organization employee means any of the following: an employee of a print, online, or mobile platform newspaper, news publication, or news source that provides current news and public interest information if the employee is acting in his or her capacity as an employee of the newspaper, news publication, or news source. An employee of a radio broadcast station, television broadcast station, cable television operator, or wire service if the employee is acting in his or her capacity as an employee of the radio broadcast station, television broadcast station, cable television operator, or wire service. Today, more and more news is gathered not by these organizations, but by private and freelance individuals. Why are they not exempt? Is the state of Wisconsin attempting to infringe on freedom of the press by limiting it to certain organizations?